Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today I am here to do a little collection update with you and talk kind of seriously about the trials and tribulations of having sales go on when you are trying to curate a collection rather than just accumulate titles. And this little adventure is going to start with one more trip to Barnes and Noble. So we'll start there. Pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. Today I am here one more time outside my local Barnes and Noble to take one more run at the Criterion sale. Now I have heard that my local Barnes and Noble here has some more titles that they didn't have before. I've heard some Arrow stuff has come in. I'm going to check it out because also online I have seen that some of these look like they're now a little less than 50% off, or a little more than 50% off. So I get a little more off of them, so they cost a little less than they did before. We're going to go in here and see what they have. I have a few targets, so I'm going to try not to be swayed into buying some stuff that I don't necessarily need in my collection right this second. It's amazing to me how many how the Barnes and Nobles vary from place to place on how big their physical media section is. All right, first things up is the new release rack. These two copies of Mute Witness have been here for a long time. Got an American Gigolo hiding back there. Got a Wild Things hiding back there. Girl Fight. A lot of people have been talking about that. It's not on my target. Alright, let's see if there's anything new in here from Arrow. It doesn't look like there's been a bunch of restock to me, because some of that stuff's been there since the last time I was here. This is pretty much the whole physical media section. We got this over here, and this over here. And then there is another row on the other side of this. So I just kind of scan sometimes for any Arrow titles, because you can usually spot those pretty good from the side. There's an Abyss 4K. Got that already though. Here's an Alien 4K. Oh, I'd pick that up, but that's a loose disc. These two copies of Black Hawk or Black Cat are still here. Basket case is still here. We still have Conan the Destroyer in Blu-ray, and we have a 4K still. There is a Blu-ray of Chinatown. I don't see any 4K of that one. Crimson Peak still here. They're not moving out of here real quick. Old Hellraiser Blu-ray. Got a bunch of Last House on the Left still. I have to go and check and see. I have to check on my Weird Science, see if it's still here. Here it is. I just check on it every now and then. I have two copies of it already. One that I opened and one that I kept closed. Here's X Blu-ray. Same Witness 4K, True Lies 4K. Well, I had heard there was a bunch of new Arrow titles in here too, so this doesn't give me a lot of hope for the Criterion. But let's see what we got. Picked this up last time. Here's Blue Velvet. That's just the Blu-ray. There's the 4K. Everybody keeps telling me to get this. I'm really apprehensive on the blind buy on that one. Bound, I've heard good things. As a general rule, I don't blind buy a lot of Criterion. Some Like It Hot is still here. That was here last time. It doesn't look like these have moved out real fast from here. Oh, they do have a couple more. They only had one of these. Brian over at the Last Movie Standing, he was looking for this. Now that's a Blu-ray, so is that. They didn't have those last time. They did have one 4K. I'm not seeing a lot of restock here, though there are a couple things maybe that I might grab. Mulholland Drive. We do have To Die For. It looks like we did get a lot of copies of that brought back in. The selection is bringing me down a little bit here. It's bringing me down. Bringing the camera down. I can't even see what I'm doing. There's Uncut Gems. It's a good movie, but just super heavy. I'm not seeing my targets, which is crappy. I'm just not seeing the restock like it had said online. I'm not seeing some of the things that I'm seeing in a lot of other people's videos that are available. So I'm going to look around here and then we'll continue this back at the home studio. All right, so we are back from Barnes and Noble, and yeah, I didn't buy anything. I did not buy anything. I had to fall back on what my principle of collecting was going to be. And we're going to kind of go over some of the things that I've gotten recently. But I had to kind of fall back on what my principle of collecting was going to be when I decided to come back to, as me and my wife say, full-time collecting. I had to, I was really looking at Blue Velvet. Everybody's like, man, you got to get Blue Velvet. I can't believe you've never seen it. It's going to be there. It's going to be there on Black Friday. It's going to be there next year on a Criterion sale. The same as To Die For. I'm 99% sure I've seen To Die For, and I just can't remember. But those are going to be there. They're I almost said studio releases, but they're Criterion releases. You're going to be able to get those films. They're not special limited editions. They're not the definitive necessarily edition. And even if they are the 4K that's definitive for that film, it's going to be there. It's not like the Twister Steelbook that just came from Warner UK or Zavi. It's going to be very limited. Or the Atomic Blonde or Northman set that's going to be limited to 2,000 copies. Or an Arrow Chunky Box set that's going to be released. Or a limited slipcover for Vinegar Syndrome or VSU. These are kind of at infinitum. They're going to be there. Like the one thing that my Barnes & Noble restocked was To Die For. There was like 8 or 10 copies in there. And that's just in my one Barnes & Noble. Nobody's running out of them anytime soon. So I had to go back to saying, Chase, you can't buy everything at once. So you have to focus on your list of the sort of out of print things that you're catching back up on, the limited editions, and you have to stay picking up the definitive or special editions of things that you are looking for. My pal over at 80s Made Consumer, he mentioned me in one of his videos about how I collect versus how my friend Brian at the Last Movie Standing collects. And I'm kind of a little bit of a combination of what I have said and kind of what he mentioned, because I look for the definitive edition of my favorite films and of the films that I'm going to buy. So like Opera, I bought that because number one, I'm interested that they actually did the restoration correctly, because it was a Super 35 and everybody had been restoring it as it was shot in full frame 35 millimeter and it wasn't. So you've never really seen Opera in 4K or anything the way it was supposed to be seen. And so I'm interested, and I think that is the definitive edition. I didn't want to pay that for it because it's not like one of my favorite movies, but it's going to be in my collection as the definitive edition. But now, like with films that I love, like let's just say Goonies, for instance, and I think I left it over here. You guys have seen it before. I bought the Cine Museum special edition of the Goonies. I still need to do an opening and a review of that. Maybe I'll do that on a live stream or something. I bought that. Goonies is one of my favorite films, and there's still two other Cine Museum editions of it out there that I want to get, and there's a steelbook or two, like a Titans of Cult. There's a Best Buy steelbook. So while I have what could be considered a definitive prestige edition, I also want those others for this particular movie, and the same for Terminator, Nightmare on Elm Street, movies like that that are just some of my all-time favorites that would be in my top 25, top 50. I will buy more than one quote-unquote definitive or prestige or collector's editions of those. But I'm not going to go out here and buy like 10 editions to Die For, or Blue Velvet even, or, and it's no offense if those are your favorite films, it's just like those aren't films that like I got the Roadhouse VSU from Vinegar Syndrome. I consider this to be a definitive edition, and I already have it on Blu-ray and DVD. So unless there's some other kind of big edition out there that comes out, I'm done with Roadhouse, even though it's one of my favorite films. But they don't seem to be making more of those, like with the Goonies and different stuff like that, and we have a lot to come. So I'm kind of a combo. If it's not a film that's like maybe in my top 50 all time or something like that, I'm probably just going to look for the one definitive edition and then move on from it. Whereas something like Goonies, Terminator, Nightmare on Elm Street, Aliens, like all these different movies like that hold so much weight for me as a kid and growing up and being a filmmaker that I love, so films I love so much, I'll double and triple dip with prestige definitive editions of those. So I'm a combo of those. And so because of that, a lot of the stuff that I target is more expensive. And so I have to remember, I'm not in this to just accumulate titles. I'm not. I'm in it to accumulate my favorite titles and the definitive editions of the titles that I want to get. So I have to temper it on these sales, and I walked out of the Barnes and Noble and didn't buy anything because of that. Because I'm like, okay, I can buy these two films. It's gonna be $55, $60 with tax, or I could take that $55 or $60 and put it towards buying the Creepshow 2 out of print chunky box from Arrow. Or I could take that $60 and buy the chunky box out of print edition of Barbarella from Arrow. Or I could buy a couple of Vinegar Syndrome titles where the slip covers are gone, out of stock or whatever. So I have to, or I could put it towards You know, like I'm still hunting the Big Trouble in Little China Blu-ray Scream Factory set that has the poster and mainly the black box with the John Carpenter vinyl. That completes my set of all of those. So, but that's like $150 to $200 if you can find one. So I have to say, hey, this $60 could be better over here because that's how I wanted to collect. I need to stick with that, but it gets easy to get caught up. And some things you want to see them right now, and they don't have like or the definitive edition you don't want to pay for. Um, so, like for instance, and this is going to be kind of a collection update. I'll show you guys what I've gotten recently since the last time I kind of just updated it, and this is from all over the place. This is from eBay. This is from Orbit. This is from Arrow. This is from Screen Factory. Like this is just like a mix of random things that I've been picking up and checking off my list because some things I just don't have and I want them and I want to watch them now. And like I know that there is an old out of print special edition box set of Reanimator by Arrow, but it's like $200 or something, and I'm not ready. If you find it on eBay, $150, $200 minimum, and I'm not willing to pay that for it. I got this from Orbit for like $7.99 or $9.99 the other day. I'm okay with this for right now. I would love a slipcover. That's really tough. I may make a slipcover for this because I just, oof, I'm that guy with the art and stuff. But I'm okay with this for right now. I am on the trail to get everything Barbara Crampton has done because ever since I just watched From Beyond for the first time as an adult recently, I saw it when I was younger, but I vaguely remembered it. I had put it in the category I had never seen it because it'd been so long I didn't remember anything about it, and I fell in love with Barbara Crampton as for what she does back in that time, and so I'm on the mission to get all of her stuff. So for right now, had this been like $30, I would have probably waited, but like $7.99, $9.99, I'll get this as a placeholder for right now because it's not enough to move the meter. So that's one that I have picked up for right now. I have been hitting eBay lately. I found this is a fun one from Vinegar Syndrome. Nightmare Sisters. This is a great slipcover. I haven't got a chance to watch this yet. I saw this years ago, Linnea Quigley. I know there is some crazy amounts of, fun nudity, horror nudity, and stuff in this, but amazing artwork, slipcover. Of course, I did the Jaws video, so you guys know that I also picked up the Jaws. That ordered those from Groove. Now here's one that I didn't even know. I picked this one up from Orbit as well. I had never heard of this movie, but it looks super good. Lover's Lane. It's kind of like it's like a Hookman story. I do know there's another set of this out there too, but I don't know if I like the movie enough for that yet. So, but it's basically a Hookman story, and it has like Sarah Lancaster from Chuck. It's got Anna Faris in it. So it's got some faces that you recognize. Cool art, cool like slasher type movie. 90 minutes. I can't even. I don't even know what year this was made. I don't think it's all that old. But I got this for a really good price. Got the slipcover still sealed. I'm anxious to watch it. Now, one that I didn't buy from Severin because I had found this on eBay. I had really been wanting this. The Christopher Lee Dracula, this set. That's amazing artwork. It's like a 3-disc 4K set here. I ended up getting this for like $28 with shipping, which was more than you could, or less than you could even get it on the Severin sale. So I picked that up. Another out of print, Vinegar Syndrome, Reform School Girls. This is another like in the fun, crazy midnight movie category here. The artwork is awesome on this. You know, I love my slip covers. I told you guys this is kind of all over the place. I went and found, I love this movie. I do know there is a foreign version of this that is it's called The Slinger. There's like a beautiful set of this, but I'm not paying $200 for Cyborg. So, right, and it's still a Blu-ray. It's not a 4K from what I understand. So, I went and found this on eBay because a lot of these older Scream Factory Blu-rays, you have to have, you're going to have to find them on eBay if you want the slipcover. Cyborg. And then I hit some Kino Lorber, and this is a couple of them. I don't know where my other two are, but I also picked up Nosferatu and the 4K of the original Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds. But I also picked up DC Cab. I had just talked about this on movies you had never seen. So I was excited to get this from Kino Lorber. And Nightmare Cinema. I think I've mentioned this before, but any movie, any horror movie, any movie really, but any horror movie that involves movie theaters, anything that I always love that. Like randomly, I love that vibe. I love that feeling. Another one that I did not have, I had on VHS. I had the talking VHS like thing a long time ago, and I haven't seen the movie in probably 20 years. But it was Frankenhooker, so I grabbed this for a good price, super cheap, and can't wait to rewatch this. See, I gave away my VHSs, and it screwed me because that talking one is worth some money. Also got the Rocky set came in, so pretty excited about that. That came from Groove. And here's one that broke my, like I could go online to eBay and get body bags with a slip, but I got this for under $10. And with the slip, you're talking about $35 or $40. And so to me, I just couldn't do it. I would rather make my own slip or look for a slip down the road or hope a 4K comes out because in my mind, that was like, man, you're paying $27 for a slip cover. And that even I can't do. But body bags I picked up. I Know What You Did Last Summer, 4K. One of my videos, I was like, I'm not sure if this has a 4K yet. It did. My man Brian at the Last Movie Standing told me it did. I jumped on there, and some other people did too. By the time he told me, I jumped on Amazon and got this for like a $10.99. 4K. I Know What You Did Last Summer. And then one more that was on my movies that you haven't seen. There is no Blu-ray that I can find that exists of this. I don't know why Vinegar Syndrome doesn't make this a VSU or Kino Lorber doesn't put this out. But The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, I could only find this, y'all, on a DVD. But when I found it, I grabbed it. I got it for $11.99. And so I just had to add it to my collection because I don't have it anyway, and you can't watch it on any form of streaming. So I have been doing, that's like a random, because this will show you that I have a list. I put something on my community tab recently about, give me a couple of, and do this in the comments, give me a couple of boutique label releases that you think I should pick up. Maybe I'll have them, maybe I won't. And then give me a studio release, because I have my list of my targets, like my out of print targets with Arrow, Creepshow 2, Barbarella, Cronenberg's Crash, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. And then like I found out there were others, like I just picked up Society also for under $10, the Arrow Blu-ray. I found out that it had a chunky box. I didn't even know. So like I need a list of what they've released in chunky boxes so I can decide if I want to go back and get them or not. But that's like my Arrow list. And, I have other like random things like DC Cab and other stuff like that I'm hunting. That's either not in my collection or is in an old DVD. So I've got kind of a little hodgepodge here. This doesn't even scratch the surface. I've gotten a bunch of other stuff from Orbit. I'm going to do a spotlight video on them soon. But maybe I'll do a little bit of, maybe I'll do an orbit spotlight on a live stream, and maybe open that Goonies set on a live stream. You guys let me know if you're interested in the live stream. Maybe we can fire one of those up. Like, this is Friday. Should come out on later today. Maybe we can do a live stream tonight or tomorrow night or something. If you guys are interested, we'll fire up a live stream. But let me know what you've been collecting. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to stick to your guns and don't get suckered in by the sales, especially with the stuff that's going to be there for a long time, and it's going to be there with the next sale. But let me know in the comments what you think, and like and subscribe. It really does help me out if you guys enjoy this stuff, and I really appreciate everything. You can consider joining the channel, become a member of the Pop Culture Friends family or a Pop Culture Icon. I'm going to add more and more stuff on that here soon. I got a lot of stuff going on there and some special live streams and things. And of course, get your name shouted out. And in the same over on my Patreon, that link is there. I'm going to put a lot of stuff in there, and I do free giveaways to my members. I'm going to start that probably once a month, and all kinds of things that we can do. And I just appreciate you being here. You don't have to do any of that to hang out, and just like, subscribe, and continue to come and check out all the pop culture, movie biz, physical media stuff. And yeah, I really do appreciate it. And until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. My camera's going dead. It's storming outside. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.